Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Marvel Contest of Champions news time, complete with me drinking a root ginger dandelion and cinnamon hibiscus tea. It's an odd concoction, but it's great for your gut and stuff, and I don't know why I'm bothering to talk to you about this. In any case, roll the titles, let's get into some news. We're not going to be talking about healthy nutritional stuff I enjoy some almonds with yogurt because that's nice. It's got some proteins and also it's tasty. No, I'm not going to go down that route. But what we're going to focus on is Marvel Contest of Champions related news. And there has been news within the community, whether or not it's Alliance Wars kicking at the end and meaning that people don't get their rewards, right the way through to problems with Alliance Quest and Prestige. Man, there's a whole host of different things and also some helpful things that are going to be great. So there's a good combination here. Some things to complain about and some things to be joyful that's going to be helpful to your playing and campaign in the game. In the last 24 hours, information has dropped with regards to the changes that were proposed for Dexterity and Mystic Dispersion. If you were in the special kind of access for the beta for these changes, then you will indeed know how it was. And this comes to a point where now it's been announced in early September, we are going to see those changes made live in the game. The changes in a nutshell are that Mystic Dispersion now only triggers when a buff on the opponent is nullified or expires, specifically meaning the buff lasts its full duration. Dexterity, on the other hand, no longer triggers a precision buff. If one is already active, the precision buff now converts to one with a short duration after landing a hit. The length of the duration scales depending on how many ranks are active in Dexterity. And Kabam offering a kind of try before you buy or get your stuff back kind of mentality, so that if you are displeased with what you see from Mystic Dispersion, then you can get the stuff back, and at the same time if you're looking to test it out, then you can do by putting the resources in to that. So there are some positives and there are some negatives. Now that doesn't cover the fact of opinion on the matter, and that's why we go over to the discussion board. So if you are interested in having your say on the matter, there is a discussion board. The link to this is the second link in the description that covers this topic of Mystic Dispersion and Dexterity. The discussion board has a real flurry of helpful tidbits and information that have been discussed, how it affects certain champions, and at the same time there has been opinions with this, with it being very mixed. Obviously some people are looking to find out, well, how do they just get on regardless with or without this? The fact is it's being changed, so therefore we've got to just adapt to the situation, and I don't think popular opinion that's negative is going to affect this change. It's something that Kabam want to issue in, and there's no, if we say unanimously we don't want it, tough, it's going in. That's the downside. But for the people that are positive about the change, then obviously this will benefit you and also those that are looking to adapt to the situation, and that may be the crucial thing to kind of focus on. If you can't make them change it back or keep it the way it is at the moment, then you have to adapt to the situation. So understanding the whole ins and outs, like, is Dr. Voodoo going to be affected by this when it comes to nullifying? Will other champions that do the same? Magic's L3? All these different questions. You can see this here. It's been answered in this, and even Mike has taken time to answer some of those questions. There are going to be some that still remain. Hopefully they get answered in time by Mike. But what are your thoughts? Do you feel positive about this? Do you feel negative about this? Are you undecided? Not, don't have an opinion? Happy to adapt? What's your thoughts? Next up, and I saw this post all about Black Widow's evade. Now, in this post, I think they're getting at the idea that the 3% chance for an evade is something that seems a little bit more frequent than it should be, which is frustrating this particular user. Now, there is some answers to this from Kabam Mike. We'll have a look at these as we go through, but it's one of these things where sometimes you feel that everything's a little bit trollish, and sometimes the enemy character is getting too much of an evade, especially if you're facing off against a champion like Spider-Man. Then it can feel, that you're really annoyed with the situation. You want to get that win, but they're always evading. With Kabam Mike responding to this, saying 3% chance to evade per hit does not mean she will evade 3 out of 100 attacks, or even guarantee that she would evade 1 in 1,000. This is not how probability works. With a 3% chance per attack, there's a slim chance that you could throw 100 attacks and she could evade each and every one of them. Kabam Mike even goes on to list suggestions of champions that could be used against a situation. And it's kind of cool to see that, to see like a real good interaction and even helpful advice in some aspects of, you know, ability accuracy, some stuff with evasion. There's so many different things that, I liked about this, which makes a change from a lot of the stuff that I do see from time to time. So some helpful interaction. Also, a lot of people kind of like saying that, oh, if you think that's bad, check out the X version when it comes to Labyrinth of Legends. Now, through the discussion on this, there are some people that kind of go against what Mike says and kind of do pick apart some stuff, and maybe that's out of frustration for going up against this champion in a situation and finding, hey, they're evading a bit too much, shouldn't really be treated as a evade champion. But still, I found this quite a nice little post to have someone raise something of a mild complaint, and then also have Kabam Mike respond back with something helpful. Next up, and it's the reset of the Glory Store that's still becoming a bit of an issue. Now, back about a month ago, it was appearing that from time to time, the Glory Store, when it was start of a new Alliance Quest season, that it wasn't resetting, and it was frustrating players that wanted to get certain items from it, especially at a cheaper rate. Now, I found today that for me, it hasn't done it, and it still says it's a further 2 days needed in order to reset that. Now, I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that problem, but hopefully Kabam see it and hopefully they do change it. But this may have happened for the last few weeks, so something's got to happen. On to our next story, and this one is all about Alliance Quest points. Now, there's a few sketchy bits of information, and the feedback given to Kabam, I don't know how kind of varied it is. Now, in this particular post, it does reference that say you're running 2 battle groups, and for whatever reason they both complete it, but the points that you get at the end are different, things aren't scaling correctly, the prestige is affected, all of those things that then at the end affect the rewards that you get back. And this has been very detrimental to alliances getting certain rewards that they believe that they were due. Now, again, as I said when I started off this particular news article, that this is very sketchy information. Some have said to me that they have indeed finished all 3 and their prestige has been affected, and as well the amount of points has been affected by that, and what they're getting out at the end of it isn't exactly correct. So it is disappointing to see that. Kabam said that they are indeed working on this and said that it's not intentional, and hopefully that it will be resolved fairly shortly. Either way, if you're experiencing any kind of problems, make sure you go to the forum and talk about your Alliance Quest issues. There is a post, if I can find it, I will put it into the description of this video. And I want to touch on Alliance Wars, especially Season 3. It doesn't seem a season goes by without there being an issue. If it's not the game and the way that it works out, and also if it's not the alliances, then I don't know what else can be an issue with that. So I want to touch on, first of all, the reports that alliances are kicking or have kicked people just before the end of Season 3. Now, we had the controversy between that one alliance and that other alliance. That was a big issue about leaders kind of hacking into accounts and kicking people out. And again, you don't really know where to kind of lie on it. If it is the case, it is true, then it is absolutely awful. But at the same time, it's just the way this Alliance War seems to be at the moment. It's not, the season side of things is just a very grisly, kind of disgusting little affair, especially in this article as well, where it looks like there has been multipliers that have been applied when alliances are in certain positions, and it's hard to kind of give you a full rundown of what I'm actually talking about. I do strongly suggest to go over to this post and give it a big look through. Essentially what we're saying is that certain alliances, when they're in certain criteria, are meant to get things like multipliers. And sometimes one alliance was finding that they were getting about 5.5 times 5.5 multiplier on the points that then they get from winning, and also kind of clearing essentially. But then they are finding that as they're going between like tiers, that the multiplier stays the same. So say as soon as you get higher kind of tier, then you get a higher multiplier, and they're finding that things aren't scaling up, so therefore they're not able to get the full amount of points that they really require in order to be more competitive, get a better position in seasons. Hopefully that kind of gives you a bit of an idea. In any case, give it a read for yourself, make your own assumptions and your own opinion on the matter, and as well your thoughts on Alliance Wars seasons. Has it come to a point where this is just getting a bit too much, a bit too frustrating? you know, it's not always everybody's cup of tea, but at the same time, you've just got to play in order to get some decent stuff out. Next up, and it's reminder time, and it's just a reminder about the upcoming arenas. So if you're looking for a particular weekend or midweek to grind out for a champion of this list that you really want, it just gives you that little reminder. Hopefully it can be of some help to somebody that's kind of going, well, I really want that champion. When do they enter the basic? And it's like, okay, well, they enter that time. I'll grind out then. Happy days. So that's for you, just for helpful needs. And our final story is all about promoting a genius within our field, and that is Mr. Dorky Diggity Dave, or as they say him up north in the UK, Dorky Diggity Dave. Dave has put together this fantastic video. I remember back along when he talked to me that he was going to be doing this kind of like how to play like a god. I kind of adapting and also improving his how to play like a ninja series. Essentially, it is just an absolute joy to watch. I strongly suggest to go and give it a watch. So go to the link in the description, go and take and give it a watch, and you'll be completely mesmerized and enriched for the experience and learn a thing or two about the game. Now that's been your Marvel Contest of Champions news for the 30th of August 2018. Tomorrow's Friday. Cannot wait for that. I'm going to be making some loads of Marvel Contest Champions videos. I've got a couple coming out. One in particular is my rank 5ing of Blade, and also my 100%ing of Act 5, because I wanted to get it done before the weekend, because I want to do some grinding for units, because I want to prep myself to then do some Labyrinth at some stage. But the main thing is I'm going to be playing a couple of other games. I'm going to record the Gods of War content as best I can. There's an issue with tech that I'm just going to try and avoid a little bit, or try and do some other stuff. And also PUBG. So the guys from PUBG have got in contact, and they said, hey, do you want to play the game and be part of the content contributor program for that? And it's like, hey, maybe I'll give that a go. So I'm training at the moment on PUBG. Expect some content over the weekend, and some Gods of War stuff on the PS4. So happy days. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, all your love and support. And yeah, okay, you'll get your Marvel Contest Champions videos, but at the same time, I want to cover some other stuff. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I've been RichTheMan. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.